Previously, Leon, one of the greatest assassins of his time, was reborn as the scornful child of the Sieghart family. So, to grow stronger and regain his mother's status, he participated in the training hall of the Siegharts. He competed in the top trainee test and was recognized as the top trainee. But the family couldn't accept the result, so he fought with Buren. As he defeated him, no one could question his strength. Even the patriarch granted him a special aura training method. It turned out to be the method of the first patriarch of the Sieghart family. A while later, a new face showed up at the training hall. It was the most talented child of that generation, Martha Sieghart. However, even she felt threatened by Rayon's talent. During training, Rayon was as diligent as ever to improve. Two trainees then approached him asking about posture, but he ignored them as the trainees struggled to converse with him. Suddenly, Martha appeared while clapping. She said, and I quote, "Well, you're more than a genius. You learn so fast. But, with how bad your mana sensitivity is, it's pointless. It's such a shame that your talent will amount to nothing." Everyone watched silently as she humiliated Rayon in front of them. She had a smug on her face, seeing as no one spoke up for Rayon. Martha obtained information from her butler that Rayon had the weakest aura at the judgment ceremony. Seeing how long it was taking for him to learn aura gave her the perfect opportunity to humiliate him, as one cannot become a proper martial artist without aura. While smiling with a victory expression on her face, Martha noticed Runan behind her. She asked if Runan had something to ask of her, but she just told Martha to go. Martha then left the scene, saying she needed to attend an advanced lesson meant for direct bloodlines. A few hours later, Rayon finished his training and thought about how fun his new life was compared to his old one. Wrath then appeared and began complaining about why Rayon didn't do anything while he was being insulted. Rayon replied that he didn't hear as he was too focused on training. Hearing this, Wrath got even more angry and yelled at Rayon. He was about to leave the training room, but when Rayon opened the doors, he saw Runan holding a box in her hand. Rayon asked why she was there. Runan then took something out of the box and told him to eat. Rayon wondered what it was, as it felt cool. As an assassin, he learned not to eat whatever he was given, but since Runan gave it to him, he ate it without hesitation. Both Wrath and Rayon were amazed, as they never tasted something that sweet and cool before. Runan then said that it was marble ice cream and immediately started going back. Rayon then returned home and was contacted by the double agent maid about the intermediate martial hall. They ordered her to look into things more due to the speed at which Rayon mastered swordsmanship. But recently they lost their interest since he wasn't able to learn aura yet. The maid also told him that they were less interested in his mother and the rest of the maids. The maid then hesitantly asked if Rayon hadn't learned aura intentionally. Rayon coldly replied, "Who knows? What do you think?" It caused the maid to get scared and apologize for asking such a rude question. After the maid left, Wrath showed up. He jokingly said that Rayon was intentionally not learning aura. Rayon replied that it's smart to utilize the situation to your benefit. So Rayon decided to head out to train again. Just as he opened the doors, Rayon saw Instructor Limer. He had come to tutor him and help Rayon find out about his attributes. Limer brought him to a forest. Rayon asked why they were in a forest to train, but Limer still could not forget the day he first saw his technique. The way Rayon accepted the coldness of his body along with the flames astounded him. After entering further inside the forest, Limer released his aura at Rayon. He said that Rayon needed to find out himself what kind of flames he wanted to possess. Rayon objected, saying that a fire could start if he trains in the woods. Limer then took him to an artisan's charcoal pit. As they were conversing, Rayon suddenly saw a huge flame in front of him. In his past life, Rayon had seen countless flames. Bonfires, advanced magic flames created by mage, but none of them compared to this. The flames were the perfect image of the ones we wanted to possess. As he held his hand forward to grasp the flames, he was interrupted by the artisan. Limer asked the artisan if he could allow Rayon to train there, but the artisan told them to go to the blacksmith instead. Due to prying eye, Limer wanted to train Rayon away from others. When the artisan heard that Rayon was Sylvia's son and saw the determination in Rayon, the artisan permitted him to train there. Limer and the artisan came out, and Limer thanked him for giving his permission. The artisan replied, "Oh, it's not because of you." The flames in the furnace rose when that child entered. That child's breathing possesses the power to manipulate fire. That child, I think he could make my wish come true. Rayon trained there for 7 months as he thought about the image of the fire he wanted to obtain. As he trained, he understood the element of fire. Plus, the 1,000 fire technique was being awakened too. As he imagined the fire he wanted to obtain, he thought about Diruth and Sylvia. He thought about the path to his goals, which was full of darkness. As he drifted through his thoughts, he finally figured out what kind of flame he needed, an unwavering flame. A stronger than usual fire energy seeped into his body. As Rayon concentrated, he was beginning to see the flame when Wrath suddenly appeared and began freezing Rayon's magic circuits. Rayon forgot that Wrath was a demon and let his guard down as it didn't try to do anything lately. It was getting harder for Rayon to breathe as his body began to freeze. He was slowly losing consciousness as Wrath consumed his soul. As Wrath was consuming his soul, it gave him an important hint. Rayon then proceeded to absorb the mana from the furnace directly. Wrath was astonished seeing him try to absorb the mana as it could end up killing him. Vulcan, the artisan, was busy with his work when the flames from the furnace suddenly became wild. He looked behind to find Rayon shivering from his bitter cold. Vulcan tried approaching Rayon, but Limer immediately stopped him, saying if they do anything to him now he will throw up blood and die. Limer and Vulcan monitored Rayon as he fought within his consciousness. Wrath tried to stop him, but Rayon was stubborn. He crawled his way to the flame with his sheer willpower. The heat from the furnace went over its limit as the furnace couldn't handle the sudden surge of heat. Limer noticed the mana from the furnace coagulating in one spot and realized that Rayon was absorbing that mana. As he grasped the flame, a huge explosion happened at the artisan hut. Limer and Vulcan got worried and called out to Rayon. As the smoke cleared up, Limer saw Rayon being surrounded by golden flames. After absorbing the flame from the furnace, Rayon was able to master the Thousand Flames technique. He also obtained the flame attribute resistance, which melted 2 tails of the bitter cold curse. As a result, the melted cold coagulated to create the trait bitter cold aura. Rayon was satisfied with the results, but then he got a notice saying all of his stats would be increased due to enduring hardship. Wrath was shocked at Rayon's willpower. Rayon replied saying whatever Wrath had wouldn't work. Though he said that, Rayon realized that Wrath was an enemy even though they acted closer. Vulcan asked if Rayon was okay and if he had earned aura or not. Rayon replied that he was okay, but apologized for breaking his furnace. Vulcan said it was okay as long as Rayon was okay. Before he could finish talking, Vulcan noticed something glowing in the furnace. He took them out to find 3 golden charcoal, the type he was trying to create for many years, but every time he failed. Seeing the golden charcoals, Vulcan said, "Looks like you weren't the only lucky one. Thanks to you, I've finally created what I've been trying to make for decades." Rayon denied credit for it, but Vulcan explained how the fire in the furnace was wilder each time as he trained there. His breath enlivened the flames every time, which helped create the charcoals. Vulcan then asked about his goal and what kind of swordsman he wanted to be. Rayon replied by saying that he wanted to become a swordsman who does not give up regardless of the situation or enemy he's faced with. Vulcan was surprised by that answer as he didn't expect to hear that from a kid. He then proposed to create a sword for Rayon with the golden charcoals when he will be able to possess one after 3 to 5 years. Rayon asked why he wanted to make swords again when Vulcan had already retired. Vulcan replied saying most people tend to go back on their word of retirement, so do not die until then. After that, Rayon bid farewell to Vulcan as his instructor. Limer watched from a nearby cliff as he was approached by the Patriarch. The Patriarch said, "Maybe it's because of the heat in the furnace, but the aura's quality and purity are insane. Plus, he's already stabilized it." Later at the 5th training hall, Runan was waiting for Rayon to return. The trainees from the 5th hall thought of him as a fraud as he was taking so long to obtain his aura. As Runan was thinking about ways to help him, Rayon entered the training hall while arguing with Wrath. He saw Runan standing in front of him while holding a box of ice cream. As he approached her, Runan offered the ice creams to Rayon and told him to cheer up. Rayon took the ice cream and thanked Runan for it. The ice cream was of a new flavor which made Wrath want to eat the remaining 2 as well. Rayon then closed the ice cream box saying that one was enough. Runan asked if he was feeling better, and after getting her answer she happily went back. Later that day, Limer announced that after a month they would be holding duels as a special training program. Hearing the announcement made Martha happy. She interrupted Limer saying, "What about some of us who are falling behind and have yet to create aura?" Hearing this, everyone looked at Rayon. Limer informed that he had already obtained his aura. Martha was surprised to hear this. She approached Rayon, saying that she had waited long enough, but now that he has aura, the 2 of them can have a proper fight. Buren interrupted them saying, "It hasn't even been a day since he obtained aura, but you already want to duel? Don't you have any honor as a swordsman?" Martha then again mocked Rayon, saying that the other trainees managed to obtain aura in a month, but the top trainee took over half a year. So, Martha proposed to have a duel and the winner would take the top student spot. But before she could finish her sentence, Rayon interrupted her saying, "No." He said, "Oh, if you want me to bet my top student position, then you must offer something equal in value." Martha replied by saying he was in no position to say that as no one was on his side. Rayon again interrupted her and provoked her by saying, "Are you scared?" Then Martha burst into laughter. Then she took out a calamity orb, a miracle medicine that her father gave her. If Rayon wins the duel, he could have it as a reward. Rayon then telepathically communicated with Wrath, asking if he remembered when Rayon said to wait until they can screw Martha over. Wrath asked what Rayon was talking about, and Rayon replied that since they could get something from Martha, it was their chance to screw her. 1 month later, Martha was preparing for their fight as she thought, "I've never been hit by someone my age before coming here. That was the first time someone hit me. This is my chance to pay him back for the shame he gave me. I need to hurry and become stronger because there's someone I need to save." Finally, the special training began. Limer gave everyone words of encouragement before the first duel began between Buren and Dorian. Buren was prepared, but Dorian requested to surrender before the duel even began. He had a stomach ache and wanted to withdraw from the duel, but Limer convinced him to still take part. The duel ended instantly. The next battle is Runan versus Crane. The battle started as Crane charged at Runan and slashed her. Runan remained calm and deflected his sword at the last moment and sent it flying. The duels kept on going until evening, and at last, it was Rayon against Martha. Martha was aggressive from the beginning and kept attacking relentlessly. Rayon, who was on the defensive, suddenly deflected her sword. Seeing this, Martha took a few steps back and said, "I didn't think you could deflect my sword. I admit you're talented, but only in swordsmanship." Martha then released her aura, saying that a halfling like Rayon whose aura isn't strong enough doesn't have a future. She then slammed her sword on Rayon, who managed to block it, but Martha didn't stop there. She kept on with her attacks while mocking his talents until Rayon almost landed a hit on her. Rayon then said, "Oh, you keep talking about talent. The people in the family really love their talent." Martha replied, "Oh, it must be annoying to hear since you're not talented. That's why I'll show you what real talent looks like even more. Then I'll show you something too." As he said that, Rayon released his aura through the Thousand Flames technique. Martha immediately realized, seeing the flames, that those weren't any ordinary flames. But she was unable to take her eyes away from those terrifyingly beautiful golden flames. She stayed frozen for a moment before releasing all of her aura, as Martha was finally taking things seriously too. She used Ultimate Point and focused all of her aura on a single spot on her sword. Martha admits that Rayon is strong, but he would not be able to block that next attack. Both of them charged at each other, and as their swords clashed, their aura cracked the ground, creating dust that surrounded both of them. When the dust cleared, Martha was seen lying on the ground unconscious. Everyone else was surprised by Rayon's victory and the aura he had released. Though the duel had ended, Martha still refused to loosen her fist even while unconscious, which made Rayon acknowledge her mental strength, something which was better than her skill or talent. Words of Rayon defeating Martha were spreading everywhere. The Patriarch praised his efforts and his aura, as well as ordered Limer to guide him so that Rayon does not get full of himself. The Patriarch then asked about Martha, who was a bit shocked. Her injuries were completely treatable, but the problem was psychological shock. The next day, Rayon, while gardening, was getting lectured by Wrath about gardening. Wrath threatened him by saying, "Do better before I freeze you to death." Rayon replied by saying that it wouldn't do anything, so he shouldn't pretend to be so strong. Wrath got even more angry while saying it was all because of his stupid elemental resistance. The miracle medicine he had received from Martha as a reward greatly increased his stats. A lot of stats were improved, but the most noticeable one was water resistance rank 4. Thanks to that, Wrath's outbursts were like jokes to him. Wrath was flexing about his beautiful gardens filled with ice flowers and how the demons that saw the garden revered him. As they were gardening, Martha suddenly appeared at the place. Seeing her, Rayon asked what she came there for while thinking about why she had come there. Martha said that she wanted to fight him again. Rayon replied saying that it was a bit pathetic if she still hadn't accepted her loss. Hearing that, Martha got flustered as she said, "Oh, I just don't get how I lost, so I came here to find out." Rayon then asked what would he get in return, which astounded her. Rayon then said that it was customary for a loser to at least bring a gift when challenging the winner. Martha became more astonished while saying, "That's nonsense. It's not like you need payment to fight." Rayon replied, "Oh well, that's too bad because I do." Martha saw no intention of fighting Rayon. She then tried to threaten him by stepping on the flowers, thinking he would change his mind if she crushed his precious flowers. Rayon then told her that he didn't like gardening at all and he was only doing it for his mother. Hearing that got Martha in a bad mood as she was about to leave. Just then, Rayon's mother, Sylvia, appeared. Sylvia saw Martha and asked if she was a friend of Rayon's. Seeing her, Martha thought to herself, of the person who left the family to chase after a man and came back to save her own child. someone who acted out of courage for the sake of her own child. Sylvia recognized the black-haired girl to be Martha and went closer to talk to her. Sylvia asked if she was hurt after the duel with Rayon, to which Martha replied by saying that she was okay. Sylvia then said, "Oh, I heard Daniel brought in a talented child, but that wasn't it. You're pretty too. Pretty as well as talented." Hearing that made Martha flustered as she tried to leave, but Sylvia stopped her and invited her over to eat together with them. While eating, Martha wondered why she was being so nice to her. Sylvia then grabbed her shoulder and said, "Chew well, so you don't get indigestion." Hearing those words reminded Martha of her mother. Rayon had thought she came here for a fight, but seeing her behave so politely made him feel something was off about her. As Martha left the place, she thought, Rayon probably thinks I'm crazy, but those eyes, they look like my mom's so much. Her face, hair color, and voice were all different, but I could feel it at that moment. It was like I was with my mom. Martha's mother was kidnapped by the white blood cult and she was adopted by Daniel. She had decided never to lose until she found her mom again, and had kept that promise to herself until she lost to Rayon that day. She was adopted because of her talent, but due to that loss, she began thinking that her father might throw her away. When she arrived at her home, her butler informed her a letter arrived from her father. The letter was written right after the duel. Martha opened the letter anxiously. Through the letter, her father congratulated her on her first loss and told her not to let it bother her too much. Her father was still looking for her mother and advised her to not give up yet. She told her butler to thank her father. Martha entered her room with silence as she thought, "Oh, I lost. Pathetically too. What I need to do now is to acknowledge my loss and move forward." Martha took a knife and cut her beautiful long hair as she made a vow to start a new beginning and let go of the stupid and pathetic past. The next day, seeing her short hair, other trainees thought something had happened to Martha. She approached Rayon, apologized for her past behavior, and said that she would keep her promise of obeying the winner. Rayon found that very unexpected and thought she changed a lot in that short time and had become mature for her age. As Martha was leaving, she again picked a fight with a trainee, which made Rayon think she had only changed towards him. The new year came, and there were many small changes. Bun had become more patient and Runan's sword had gotten a lot more precise. Martha continued to only obey Rayon. And Rayon, who trained every day, had become even stronger. Limer informed the Patriarch of his explosive growth, to which the Patriarch replied by asking if he was Rayon's butler or something. Limer then noticed that the employees around the main building seemed busy. He asked the Patriarch if he was preparing something. The Patriarch replied that a few days later, the Orwin Kingdom's envoy was set to arrive. The envoy's representative was the third prince, but they assumed it was Duke Tartan. Limer then mentioned that the prince was still young, so he would be similar in age to Rayon or Buren. The Patriarch then told Limer to make sure the trainees behave, as the prince will be coming to watch the swordsman and trainees training. Hearing this, Limer began scheming something again. Later that day, he told the trainees that the third prince wanted to spar with them. The trainees became hesitant as they were not prepared for this sudden challenge. In truth, the prince was only supposed to visit the 6th training hall, but Limer went ahead and invited the prince to visit the 5th training hall. He then called the prince and his trainee knights into the training hall. The prince, Greer de Orwin, introduced himself. When he saw the prince, Rayon knew that he was the strongest out of all of them. Limer asked Rayon if he was hesitant to duel with them as well. Rayon thought that it would be a nice experience to duel with him, so he agreed to it. Limer then told both sides to pick 20 trainees who wished to participate. He also mentioned that his entire month's salary was on them winning, so they must win no matter what. Afterward, Rayon gathered everyone from the 5th hall and told them to look closely at the knights. Their hands were shaking. Rayon then said, "They have handsome armor and confident posture, but they are all trainees, just like us, who can't help but be nervous about a duel. Don't be nervous, and let's make sure to do our best." Hearing those words boosted the confidence of the trainees. Rayon thought up a strategy to increase the spirit of others, so he sent the strong ones first to win. First up was Martha. She was taking things easily, but her opponent turned out to be a huge-looking knight trainee named Tars. The spectators commented that their size differences were way too big and that even Martha wouldn't be able to avoid loss. Hearing that, Martha casually replied, "I'll win anyway. Stop acting all polite and come at me." The prince watched the battle as Martha overpowered Tars. The swordsmen of the 2nd training hall were strong. They lived up to the Sieghart name and were comparable to the kingdom's knights in skill. However, the 6th hall's trainees were rather disappointing. But I guess this training hall was where the really talented trainees were, is what the prince thought as he watched the fight. Limer and Tartan were having a conversation during the fight. Tartan asked him if the duels were the reason why he had come to meet them yesterday. Lima replied that it was a rare opportunity to duel against the Emperor's knights and it would be a good lesson. The battle continued as Martha broke Tar's sword and hit him in the stomach with her sword's hilt. The battle was over with Martha's victory. Rayon watched as he thought how much her skills had developed since their duel. Wrath appeared, saying that it was boring to watch ants fight. He began talking about the demon realm, but Rayon stopped him. One by one, the duels were over. At the 18th match, Runan was facing Idalia. Idalia commented that she didn't like the spaced-out look in Runan's eyes as she released her aura. Runan replied, "Oh, I don't like fire," as she also released her aura. The two trainees' blades clashed as the area got surrounded by steam created by their aura. Runan used the steam and tried to attack Idalia from behind, but she noticed and turned right back, but that was an illusion. The real Runan then held her sword next to Idalia's neck, ending the duel right there with her victory. Idalia tried to shake hands with her, but Runan ignored her completely and went over to Rayon. She asked if Rayon was watching her fight. Rayon complimented her improvement as the next battle was about to begin. With 9 wins and 9 losses, things were getting pretty heated. In the 19th round, Buren was facing Saran, the strongest out of all of them excluding the third prince. The duel started as both of them clashed their swords. They were similar in terms of skills, so if either of them let their guard down even for a second, it'll be over. The battle came to an end as both of their swords were broken. Rayon cheered up Buran, saying he did well in being tied with their second strongest. Buran refused to accept that result, saying he should have won no matter what. Rayon assured him that his efforts wouldn't go to waste and said, "I'll win the last one and bring glory to the Zeekhart name." And that is all for now. We will only make a part 4 video if you guys really want it. So let us know in the comments if this series deserves another video. Like the video if you liked it, and hit that dislike button twice if you didn't.